I want to welcome Agile XRM to the podcast. I've known the people at Agile XRM for the past 12 years. I've seen how their business process management tool can add massive value to complex organizational processes in sectors such as finance and government. If you have complex processes or a need for dialogues on the Power Platform or Dynamics 365, take a look at how this BPM tool can add value. You can find them at agilexrm.com or check out the show notes for more details. Welcome to the MVP show. Today's guest, amazing. She was on the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge, and I'd forgotten all about that. So I'm going to let her tell her story. So let's get on with the show. Today's guest is from Sydney, Australia. She works as a technical lead in Power Platform and Dynamics 365 at Blackmore's Group. She loves coding, working through hard problems, and creating elegant solutions. She's very passionate about learning tech as well as non-tech. In her spare time, she loves spending time with her husband, drawing, cooking, bushwalking, and reading. You can find her on Twitter at Tae Rim Han and her blog, taerimhan.com. Welcome to the show, Tae Rim.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Did I pronounce everything right? Sometimes I'm like not certain when they're not like, names I've grown up with.
Well, you actually did pretty well. I have to say it's one of the better versions of my name that I heard.
How do you say it?
It's Tae Rim, but it's spelled with R and not L, so it's kind of gets quite confusing. So I usually go by just Tae. And that makes it so much easier for everyone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. So tell us about you. What do you do when you're not working? Tell us a bit about, family, lifestyle. Are you a foodie? What do you do for fun?
I actually have I've got a very varied hobbies. And I'm a pretty curious person. So I dabble into things a lot. So I have to say, I draw, as you mentioned. So I do a lot of pen and ink illustrations and do digital drawings on Photoshops and stuff like that. And so, that keeps me entertained. And then I love cooking. I always believe that cooking is a bit of a combination between art and chemistry. And those are my favorite subjects back in when I was at school. So I cook a lot and I like baking. So these days with COVID and things like that, so I've been into making sourdough breads and things like that. So yeah.
Nice. Interesting on the sourdough bread, as in my wife tried, but sourdough, you got a lot of work to do even before the bread making, right?
Yeah. We actually I call it pets. It's my pet. Because it's like living, right? So I feed my pet and then I leave it out and then it'll, double in size. And yeah, there's a bit of prep work, but it's all very enjoyable. So you just see that thing grow and then next thing you're making a dough and, just doing things with your hands and things like that and the smell and everything. And yeah, so I love the process of it.
And outside of your food creations, do you have a favorite restaurant that you like in Sydney?
Favorite restaurant in Sydney? Ooh, that's a hard one. Because as you probably know that I'm Korean, so so I like my Korean barbecue. So there's some. I live near Chatswood, so I go to a restaurant there. It's a one next to Chase. I forgot the name actually. It's called Narison, I think. And yeah, they do a really, really good barbecue meat sets, and you can choose from options of A to C. I think it was something like that, and you get different plates of meat that you can choose from, and side dishes and things like that. So yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, nice. I used to live, in World Tower in Sydney, which is on George Street, and we had Korean barbecue at the bottom of our building, and we used to be there all the time. It was so good. So good, so good. Tell us about how you got into technology. What was your journey?
Right, my journey. Okay. So I accidentally got into computer science. I had a 1 year of uni that I need to do before I could actually do the major I wanted to go and do. So, but I actually ended up finishing it. So, and so I did that in Auckland. So
In Auckland?
yeah, yes.
Wow, I did not know that.
So I did my undergrads in Canterbury and Christchurch, but I did my postgraduates in Auckland. And so you know how things are in Auckland, so I went to Datacom as a graduate, and I went and worked for a digital team back then, and we worked with a lot of content management systems, all sets, in-house built ones, and Actrons, and I think we even did IBM ones as well, and but my favorite one was at the time was Microsoft Content Management Server. And you probably know that got discontinued at some point. So I thought the next transition from there would be to work with SharePoint. So I got into that, and I think there was still very early days, like SharePoint 3 and Foundation and all that kind of stuff. And then building intranets and extranets. And being a typical Kiwi, I thought, oh, okay, I want to do some overseas experience. And then we call it OE. And then I thought, oh yeah, and a lot of people go to US or UK or something like that. And I thought, oh, where can I go? But I didn't really want to go too far from my family because my sister had her first child at that time. So I thought, okay, Australia it is. So the aim was to be here for only 2 years. Then I actually stayed for 11 years now.
Wow.
Yep. Yep, you know how it is. And and then that's when I joined a company called OBS, and then I started my journey into learning about Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and there was at version 4 back then. But yeah, I got hired as a SharePoint developer. But then I was building out SharePoint portals for our XRM clients. So and then you know how if you start working on that, you kind of start picking up tickets on the other side of the fence, and I really liked what I saw on the other side of the fence. So I transitioned into the Dynamics development then. And and then from there, I did a lot of because I come from more of a pro developer background, so I worked more like a full stack developer, I guess, in a way. So I did a lot of end-to-end implementations for our XRM customers. So building out front-facing platforms for their systems, using, I guess, SharePoint, and then there was Angular, single page applications and mobile apps using Xamarin and things like that. And there are a lot of those things, but always interfacing it and writing APIs that will actually expose Dynamics implementation underneath. And also working with the actual, the Dynamics development and customizations and stuff like that as well. And then I think it was 3-4 years ago when I started to go into a bit of Azure stuff, and then the Power Platform stuff came out. And then, so these days I mostly work with Power Platform and doing a lot of model-driven apps with Canvas apps, and I love PCF controls and doing a bit of Azure and DevOps and all that kind of stuff, and all very fun. So that's pretty much how I got in and what I'm doing right now.
It's so cool. It's so cool. So you've done, it's been interesting because you've spent your time partner side and through a range of partners I see, and then you're now working directly for a customer as an employee. And what's the biggest difference that you've noticed between working for a partner as opposed to working directly for an end user of the platforms?
I would probably say the engagement level is really different because so if you're working for a consultancy, often you will work with the customers, but then you kind of gather your requirements and then come out and do your implementation and do the end iteration and things like that. But like I guess when you're in the customer side and you're the actual internal IT, like you have a bit more engagement with the customers because you actually talk to them because they're your colleagues. And yeah, so and then I feel as though you can really dig into the issues they're actually experiencing like better than as a consultant. And so, and yeah, I guess because you're internal IT and you're actually building a platform for them, the engagement of the project will be much longer, obviously. And so you do see from like conception to like actually delivering whatever it is that you're delivering. And then you have the iterations of improving the system and seeing the users actually using the system. And I think that aspect of actually seeing the users use the system, like sometimes you may not get it depending on the kind of projects that you're working on for consultancy, depending on the contracts and I guess, and that kind of things. But yeah, so just seeing them use it and then they come back to you and say, oh, maybe add this feature here and there and like, and you go and do that. And yeah, it just improves their process. And yeah, so that's the biggest one. And then I feel as though you have a bit more, I don't know, time and I guess to really dig into it and then make it that, the solution more solid. Through iteration again. Yeah, so that's probably the biggest difference I'll see. Yeah.
So two follow-up questions for that. What do you miss most about working for a partner, and what are you glad you don't have to do about not working for a partner?
So what I miss about partners, I guess, is like you do see more projects. So like, yeah, so that's probably what I actually miss as well. And I guess like in a consultancy, you'll get like many other colleagues, who's in that IT, area. So you get to, have more of that bouncing of ideas and stuff like that. More people too. And so, that's probably one of the things that I miss the most. And then what I don't miss about it is the billing, the timesheets.
Isn't that the truth? Eh? That's so true. So true. So yep. True. So do you have plans to join the mothership?
Mothership? I'd love to go to the mothership, but it's like, would you have me? I don't know.
Well, the thing is, right, I feel across one's career in this space, people work partner side, people work, client side like you are. And then the mothership, Microsoft, to go and work at Microsoft at some point is kind of like, I like recently I've seen quite a few MVPs, leave and go and work for Microsoft. So, I just wondered if that was, potentially something that, would be on your career, ideals.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, see where it goes, really.
It's amazing company, right? What I'm constantly impressed in, and I've watched Microsoft for probably 25 years now in different partner capacity roles and working with them as well, is that their culture just seems to be on fire at the moment. Like it seems to be such an awesome culture to be in Microsoft at the moment, is my perception. Yeah. So tell me, how'd you become an MVP? How did that come about for you? And did anything change once you became an MVP?
Right. This is quite interesting because I have to say everything started with your mentoring challenge, 90-day mentoring challenge. So I was in your class for the year 2020. And then, yeah, so there was the catalyst, and it was a perfect storm really, because that's when the COVID started, the pandemic started and stuff like that. And then, we learned about a lot of emphasis is on community work, and I always wanted to contribute back to the community, and because I learned so much from them. And in that class, we had a lot of, individuals who so inspirational, and then we covered the, topic of, setting up the personal brand, and then, having a platform to share with others and things like that. And it's really embarrassing how many years I actually had get my own blog on my to-do list. And then I finally managed to get a blog up, and then I started blogging. And then from there, speaking opportunities came from user groups and things like that. And I mainly talked about PCF controls and extension points, I guess. I had a lot of help from the community members and a lot of encouragement from them. And I still remember when I posted my first blog post, and I'm a very introverted person, and I usually try to stay on the radar kind of thing. And then Karina, she jumped on and she said, "Oh my gosh, you have to go read this first." And then I'm just hiding under the rock kind of thing. And then Natraj, hey, he went and did the same. And it's it was really, it was very encouraging. And, it was just really encouraging to see that, that I could share something. And then help from family members as well. Every post I write, my husband reads it. My longtime colleague and manager, he's also really into it and supporting me on this and stuff. And so that's how I kind of got started with the MVP side of things. And
that's so cool. It's so cool hearing that story through. How many people have hit you up and said, "How do I become an MVP now that you're an MVP?"
Actually, no one.
Wow.
No one.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a bit more I talked to more MVPs than before. And, there's huge help from Diana and, Berkovich and Eliza and Geetha. And I do talk to the community more nowadays, because of this opportunity and things like that. And then, even before that actually as well. But nobody actually contacted me saying, "Oh, how do I become an MVP?" Maybe I'm not doing it right.
No, it's good. It's good. What's your biggest recommendation for people, that want to become an MVP? What would you recommend they do?
Just go out there and share, really. And I would say, if I can do it, and I'm very introverted, and then anyone can do it. You should just take courage and just, put yourself out there. And if you go, that's pretty much what I'll say.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been so good talking to you. I love your infectious laughter, and I can't wait to hopefully catch up with you in Australia at some point.
Yeah. Or New Zealand, because I do.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Nice. So you're still got family here, I take it?
Yes, I do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Excellent. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I always have my random questions right for the end, and I was so excited talking to you, I forgot about them. But here they are. Are you ready for your random questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so imagine this. You're in a zombie apocalypse, end of the world. What 3 people do you want to be on your team to help fight the zombies?
My husband, definitely.
Nice. Husband. Yeah.
And then I would say my mom. And my parents, really. And there's already 3 people. So
yeah, there you go. You've nailed it.
Yep.
Nailed it. Awesome. What thing would you be most scared to tell your parents? It's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah. I actually really transparent with them, so I don't know actually.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
all good.
so
That's
I
good.
have
That's
no
good
idea.
answer. Good answer. Good answer. Goody two shoes. I mean,
Oh
good
yeah,
answer.
I'm a very good goody two shoe. I mean, I totally am. So I'm not denying that at all. So
Okay. So here's the last one. This is a very tricky one. Would you rather end the life of one human or 100 puppies and kittens?
What do you make me to answer? This is really...
You can say, I don't want to answer that. That's a hard one.
It's a really hard one, but I value human life. Although I love puppies and cute furry things, but it's my faith. I value my human life.
Yes.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
These are good answers. Tae, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun being on the show.
Hey, thanks for listening. If you're interested in the 90-day mentoring challenge, go to nz365guy.com/mentoring. I'm your host, Business Application MVP Mark Smith, otherwise known as the NZ365 Guy. If you want to support the show, please check out buymeacoffee.com/NZ365 Guy. Stay safe and see you next time.